Still on the show. So, was that it?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, because most people I might never get a chance to like hear my.
I'm glad I'm not dead.
Hold up, you had a question. Hold up. Over there, yeah.
I just got a couple comments. First, my girlfriend loves you and girlfriend. And two, I saw you in LA with Mars Volta. And I want to know if you are working with Omar or Rick Rubin again.
Well, Omar, I can say yeah, definitely. Definitely. Right now I'm working with Ike, and who's from Mars Volta as well. And now I'm about to go on the road with 9 Inch Nails and work with Trent a bit, so that's cool. That's cool, all right. Rick, I'd love to work with Rick again. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
Talking about unbelievable culture and emergence. Tell us a little bit about your work with philosopher Ken Wilber.
Work with Ken Wilber. Ken is an amazing thinker that I have had the opportunity to build with on occasion. We have spoken about creating an integral acting studio, but both of our schedules are absurd. Him with Integral Naked and me with this. But essentially, my work with Ken Wilber is more along the lines of discussions that I've had with Ken Wilber after reading Ken Wilber's work. You know, but he's quite a mind, quite a person, for sure. Yes?
I had a question about how you process things, because obviously you do this as, you know, an open mic type thing where you come out and you show the audience your contributors, but you create them on paper. And
Yes.
you also deal with music, and then you deal with the schedule that you do every time you release a book. So how do you find time to do those things?
Oh, so my process. It's and this will be the last. Yours will be okay, and then we'll stop. As you said, I write. A lot of times it's just jotting down. I'm really working on myself. So in that moment of possession, jealous guy comes up, I write down something pertaining to those feelings, right? Now at the time, for instance, that actually I was explaining earlier today, that happened last week. I was working on a song and I had music that I was writing to, and I didn't know what the song would be about. The music was going to dictate what the song would be about. But in the middle of writing the song, I was waiting for my girlfriend to call me back. And it was supposed to be like a 15-minute, like, you know, a short thing, but all of a sudden I realized like an hour had passed, an hour and a half had passed, and so then I'm like, why hasn't she called me back? And then I started really thinking about, why hasn't she called me back? You know, who is she talking to? You know, like all these things, you know? And so then all of those feelings found their way into the song, you know? So my process is pretty simple. Emotions come up. It's kind of like a ventilation system. You know, things come up, they come through, or I feel how I feel, and it's important to me to kind of like get it out of me and not hold it in.
So how does that relate to like a longer work, like you work with
something like that? It was like we said, the Shotgun or this last book. Working on this last book was a lot of fun because it was so specific. It was so hip-hop specific. And so then it was about setting aside time and and it was my like reintroduction to hip hop. Like all of a sudden, it's like, you know, it was all about blunts and Project Pat for me. You know, like it was just, it was essential to reintroduce myself to the world that I had kind of stepped away from for a while as I was getting into all the other stuff that I was into. So all of a sudden, it was about just bombarding my ears with all of this stuff, and it was about, you know, being in the clubs and just absorbing all of this stuff. So then it became kind of my project. That's what I was working on. Now during that time, other poems might come and other things might come, but my largest project was this. And so then it's just a matter of the last line, wherever I am, that last stanza, because the last stanza is the thing that leads me to the next stanza, you know. But often I'll go back to the top. It's kind of hard when you're dealing with something really long, because I really like working from reading the top to remember all of the energy and everything that's been a part of it. You know, but I've been writing this thing for, you know, 400 days now or something like that. And so, you know, I go back to the top and read it all, and all the editing's been done, so I have this cohesive piece, you know, and then get to that last stanza. And that's what I'm meditating on all day as I go through my day. And something comes up, and maybe it applies, maybe it doesn't, you know, and days go by and I don't write anything, and, you know, so it's actually really simple, I think, you know. It's really, it's like no different from if you're writing a letter to someone and you get interrupted, you do a bunch of stuff, and you think, or you get stuck, you're like, oh, I got to get back to writing it, but you kind of have to go through a few things to see. Stuff like writer's block and all that stuff is not a part of my vocabulary, because I believe that there's a time and place for everything, so that when I can't write, I believe it's because it must not be time to. It's time to digest something, you know. I'll go to the movies, I'll seek to be inspired by music, art, conversations, all the stuff, until I get to the point of needing to write again, you know. Because I like writing with that sense of urgency, like Maya Angelou says, like you should write with the urgency of a gun being held into your mouth. Raekwon says, that's amazing, gun in your mouth talk, verbal foul talk, connect styles, make my man child walk. You know, Wu-Tang saying the same shit, gun in your mouth talk. That urgency is the essence of it. So if something's not coming, then I guess it's not meant to come at that time. So I don't beat myself up, but nonetheless, I find it kind of easy to stay focused. Except when I'm talking here, then I'm very, you know, much about the tangent. Final question, yes.